this is Rachel from Rachel Reads, and over here is Nicole Arlyn, and she's an author for Full Fathom 5. And we are going to do a tag today that I saw Katie Tastic do. Nicole here is going to talk about her book a little bit, and then we'll get started with the questions.
I wrote the collection of books called The Sugar Spirit Chronicles, which is published by Full Fathom 5, and they are 26 books in a series about a little girl who was abused in her hometown by her stepfather, and she just journeys into her imagination to get away from her small little life in this small town in America and go into these fantastical worlds, searching for a king that she heard about that could bring her real father home so she could have the love that she always desired. Here they all are. I don't know if you can see them properly. So these are like all the novellas in the series. Sorry to block you.
It's fine, okay.
So, and there they are.
We're gonna start with the questions. The first one is Initial Attraction, a book that you bought because of the cover.
Mine is definitely the Chronicles of Narnia. They had new collections in Barnes and Nobles, and just the purple and the gold and the light and all the beautiful forest creatures on the covers. I just had to have it. It was like my special book, and I used to just carry it in my bag everywhere just to look at it.
They're so pretty.
Yeah,
I love the story too. It's my favorite movie.
It is. It's my favorite book since I was a child.
Second one is First Impressions, a book that you got because of the summary. The book that I got because of the summary is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I was looking for a good fantasy sci-fi book, and I love Cinderella retellings, so I just had to get it.
Beautiful Ruins, which my friend Eduardo Ballerini did the voice, the audiobooks, and it takes place in Italy, in the Cinque Terre, which is a beautiful part of middle Italy, and I was living there at the time, and so I read the summary and I had to read the book.
Number 3 is Sweet Talk, a book with great writing.
It's very difficult to choose since there are so many, but I just tend to lean towards classical writing always, because that somehow just seeped into my soul and is always there. So my favorite author of all time is Flaubert, and my favorite book is Madame Bovary, and I don't think there's any writing as finely detailed as that. Is like the foundation if you want to be a writer of detail and extreme labor. He wrote that book over the course of 5 years, never leaving his house, with his little lantern.
First Date, a first book of a series which made you want to pick up the rest of the series. Mine was the Patricia Briggs Mercy Thompson novels. Like the first one, I only read romance, and Mercy Thompson, I think it's the first book I've ever read where there wasn't romance and I wanted to continue the series. And thankfully I did, because now there's romance in her life.
All the Grimm's fairy tales, every time I would read one I had to read through. I have old little books I bought, like Traveling Through England, little classic fairy tale books, obscure ones, and those books, I don't know if they would be considered series, but I consider them series because they're just collections. And then of course there's the Harry Potter series, which you can't read the first one without wanting to venture on that journey forever.
Yeah.
So, and then Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings, all those books are just, they are astoundingly profound, and so many people read them for a reason because they're just extraordinary books.
Late Night Phone Calls, a book that kept you up all night.
I have to say, there is a book called The Story of O.
I think I've heard of that.
This is a book, it's the first, I don't know, erotic. It was written in Paris. It's apparently a nun wrote it or something, but it's just so erotic. It's so drawing. The writing is so incredible that I could not put that book down, but it's very dark and very brutal, but beautiful. And that writing really affected me a lot.
A book that kept me up all night is Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcalis. I've talked about it so many times on my channel, but I read it, and I think it was the first book where it was alternating between a guy and a girl, you know, each chapter. So I didn't know that until that book, and it was just like mind-blowing, and the whole entire plot, I was like, I need to know what happens to Alex.
That sounds good.
Always on my mind, a book you could not stop thinking about. Howl's Moving Castle. because I watched the movie and I loved the movie, the anime, and I didn't know that there was a book, and my friend did, and she threw it in my hands. I didn't really want to read it, but she made me read it, and it was the best decision. Like, I'm so happy and so grateful, because all I can think about is Howl's Moving Castle, the movie, and the book.
I have to read that then.
Oh my god, it's so good. You need to watch the movie
Really?
too.
Okay, I will.
Man, we need a movie night.
I think I love the Lemony Snicket books.
Yeah!
I love Lemony Snickets. I can read those books over and over again, and they also influence my writing a lot.
I agree with you. I've read the first couple books. They're
Yeah,
great.
and that goes back to the summary question, because I remember reading the beginning where it said, if you want a happy ending, don't read this book.
Yeah,
or something
it
like
did
that.
say
And I was
that.
like, okay, that's my book. So I love Lemony Snickets.
Getting physical. A book which you love the way it feels. We take this question as the way the book makes us feel.
Well, I love everything by Anais Nin. I love the way Henry Miller makes me feel. Also because I feel like I can do anything. Like when I read Henry Miller, I feel like I don't need boundaries in my writing. I don't have rules or a way it's supposed to be. I can write with my own inner voice. So I love the way that Henry Miller makes me feel about Paris, about being an outsider, about writing.
I love any romance novel because they make me feel so good. There's always a happily ever after. There's always a guy that's really hot and that I want to marry. That's my whole shirt is my book boyfriend is better than your book boyfriend.
I gotta write a romance novel.
It's so, oh my god, I love it. Well, you like darker things, right?
I do, but I gotta write a romance novel.
It has to be happily ever
I tend
after.
towards writing dark things, which is strange because I'm not a dark person at all.
Meeting the Parents. A book which you would recommend to your family and friends. And we've been talking about this, and our family doesn't read
the way that we read.
So
I mean, not to diss on our family, but I don't think that the books that we like, our families would like. The Princess Bride.
Yes!
I don't know, I'm kind of a little bit old school.
I'm gonna twist this a little bit. A book or series or that I would recommend. I'm gonna recommend Ella Enchanted to younger kids.
Yes, that's great.
To younger kids, so people who are just starting reading, like 12 years old, Ella Enchanted. I have to just put it in every children's hands. A book or series you know you will reread many times in the future. It's not the Mercy Thompson series, it's a spin-off which is the Alpha and Omega series. I have reread the first book way too many times. Probably like 20 or 30, and I'm not exaggerating.
There's no way I can avoid saying The Lord of the Rings, because those books will stay with me all of my life. I will continue to read them forever.
And that is our tag video. And again, here's Nicole, Full Fathom 5. Great book, it's coming out. And thank you so much for being a part of this video.
Thank you, Rachel. This was so much fun. I love talking about books.
Yes, yes. So you'll hear more from her, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
The first thing she says is to put eyeliner on, and I absolutely hate eyeliner. I think it is the devil because it never works.